Welcome back. You're watching TV 47 Weekend Edition. It's time for To The Point, and our conversation today is on HIV Prevention and Progress. Remember, this is in line with World AIDS Day, which is today. We've had this conversation about HIV and AIDS before, but right now, remember, the country is working towards eradicating the spread of HIV by the year 2030. And the question was, what strides have we taken as a country, or are we taking as a country, in regards to this target, or to meeting this target rather? And our guests are already in studio. They've already mentioned themselves. Right next to me is Benson Isaboke, the chairperson of the Men Disability Society of Kenya, right?
Yeah.
We have Joshua Gitonge from the NSDCC, and we have Nick Ogada, a champion, HIV champion, a content creator. I see you love so much being called a content creator, right? I will respect that one, Nick Ogada. So, Benson, let me just start with you now that you are here, right next to me. The focus is on men. Why men this year?
When we look at the statistics, men are the drivers always. When you talk about infections, be it new infections, you get men actually use that what we call masculinity. They want to measure or to show like they are men enough. They can be able to handle more than one man or one woman in the aspect of without knowing their status. In any case, without knowing their status, they can be able to infect more than one person at a time. And that's why men are very critical in actually reducing the infection as we look forward, actually reducing the triple threat virus within the year 2030 as it's been envisioned. Yes.
Joshua, we've had an 83% reduction in the last decade. Is that correct?
Yes, the reduction in new HIV infections.
Yes. So what sides are we really taking in terms of getting towards this target of 2030 eradication of HIV prevention?
Okay, thank you, Anne. Just allow me possibly to revisit the statistics. I know we saw them.
Yes, please. And
what we know is that in Kenya, we have approximately 1.4 million people that are living with HIV. When we look at the HIV program, and possibly look at it into three aspects. Number one is that we want to ensure that anybody who is not living with HIV doesn't get infected, and that is the new infections that we are talking about. And then those who are living with HIV, we are able to ensure that they start treatment, and that treatment is effective, and that they are able to lead a healthy life like any other person. So life expectancy becomes the same. And also we reduce on death. Now let me look at issues of new HIV infections. The progress report that we gave today shows us that we've made some good progress, because within a period of 10 years, we've been able to reduce the number of new HIV infections from over 101,000 to 16,000. I think that is great progress. But we're also saying that 16,000 is also quite a lot. Our target by 2030 is that we go to zero. So 16,000 in last year is quite a lot. And basically, we look at two aspects. Number one, stopping the transmission of HIV from mother to child. And the second one is then those who get HIV from the sexual contacts. So those are the two that we are trying to address, and determining where these new infections are coming from. Like we hear now, it has moved to the young people. Young people, around 39% of those aged 15 plus and above, they're the ones who are having 39% of that. First one question would be, why?
Right. Why? Why such a huge number?
During the commemoration that was done today in Nyayo National Stadium, one of our policymakers helped us to really unpack that. Number one, looking at the generation that we're talking about is a generation that does not know where we are coming from as far as HIV is concerned. Issues of those deaths where almost there were deaths everywhere. This generation has not seen that. So basically when they hear about HIV, they are not able really to understand the impact of that. They are also coming in when there is treatment in terms of ARVs, and when somebody takes the ARVs well, then you're able to lead a good life. So it all boils to issues of behavior, looking at issues like they are found to be having low knowledge, comprehensive knowledge on HIV prevention. Not only knowing what is HIV, but having the information to help them prevent the HIV. Actually, the knowledge level is quite low.
All right. Now, just stick to that as we get this video from the people so that we can back up your statistics or your information. Simon?
It's great that our people note that on a daily basis we have new HIV infections, and particularly we ought to focus on the adolescents and young persons. In as much as we are saying we have a problem among the men, it's good we don't forget, because an equal proportion of the young men are within the adolescents and young persons aged 15 to 24. So for this great county, on an annual basis, our adolescents aged 15 to 24 contribute to around 38% of the new HIV infections.
Kuhusu stigmatization, naona imeenda chini. Siku hizi watu wamekubali kuwa iko na hawana shida nalo. Watu wamekubali. Ukipata mtu ako nayo, unapata mtu amenona, mtu ako sawa, amekula vizuri, amepiga tisi, huwezi tambua, na hata wakijulikana wako nayo bado wanaenziwa kwenye kijiji.
This year we had about 16,700 new HIV infections. We haven't moved from children, and children getting HIV from their mothers. And we want to say from father to mother to child. And then you're moving to another cohort of adolescent and the younger people. And when we speak about younger people, I want to say that we are also seeing a concentration of HIV for the ages of 25 to about 29, and especially women. And that's in addition to the 15 to 24, we traditionally knew 24 to 29 again, until you get about ages of 35. You can almost see that about 75% of our infections are there. But we're also concerned about the older population, and this one is about from 45 and above. Again, we are beginning to see two different cropping elements. New infection among that cohort. That could probably be a proxy indicator that sex is not happening between young people alone and young people. It's also happening between older people and younger people. And that's why you can see that age cohort again coming back. And although the numbers are not so high, but you can also begin to see they are coming back to become a challenge.
Hakuna awareness kubwa ambaye shirika la hospitali la ama ya afya imepeana kwa wananchi zaidi.
Hata kuhusu Kericho County, naomba governor atume watu wa health afunze watu kuhusu maneno ya AIDS. Watoto wase aokopi.
Ama kitu kwanza mnaweza amua kwenda hospitali kupimwa kwanza ili uzuie. Ujue kwanza huyu mwenzako mwenye unataka kuenda na yeye ako hali gani.
Jamii yangu ni jamii ambaye ni watu ya reserve. Mimi wakati waliposikia ambaye niko na hali hii, mimi jamii yangu walilenga, walinitenga kabisa.
Jina langu ni Ruth Nekesa. Kulingana na mimi, maambukizi haya ya virusi vya ukimwi sana sana imechangiwa na, kama vile mwenzangu amesema, ignorance na pia uoga. Kuna mtu labda unaweza kuwa na virusi alafu ule wakati wa kupima unaogopa.
All right, that is word on ground. Joshua, and I'm coming back to you. It's true in some areas the stigma has reduced, but not everywhere, right?
True.
But there's a guy who say there that they need you guys to send the Ministry of Health to really sensitize these communities on matters HIV. So do you agree, and let me just come to you, Nick, first, that right now the education on HIV has reduced as compared to how it used to be done kitambo, you know, how they used to come to schools, teach these young boys and girls on if you have sexual contact, if you do 1, 2, 3, you're going to get infected. Has that reduced since in this day and age?
I believe education has reduced because I used to also see it on TV. Nowadays I don't see it on TV. So that meant that I had to step up and start sensitizing people on this issue. Yeah, so when I began, normally I write down what I'm to record, but those days I used to set up my tripod, camera and my lights to wheelie, then start scrolling on social media. So ilipata kama like 2 weeks prior to that, there was also a report, then the next week a report. So I was like, I'm tired of this. Now I have to step up and do a video and do some videos right after that. So I did HIV awareness and STD awareness like 22 weeks straight to try and bring the education up.
So how was the receiving from these guys receiving this information? Was there stigma? Were they receiving it well? Did you get feedback from people coming back to you and saying, thank you so much, man, you really helped me in accepting my situation?
Yeah, I got a lot of messages. The comments were flooding, and the people were like, we needed someone like you to come and remind the young people and also the old people that there are STDs in society, they're still there, and just because we're not talking about them doesn't mean that they don't exist. Yeah.
All right, Joshua, it's a race against time. Why was this the chosen one to help in the sensitization of, in creating awareness rather, of HIV prevention in the year 2024? It's a first of its kind, so why a race this year?
A number of reasons. Number one, we have 2030 that are set global targets and also targets within the country. Now, remember, we said 2030, globally, the global community has been moving towards zero new HIV infections. And therefore, the race that we are talking about here is then determining how are we moving towards that end, which is now ensuring that we don't have new HIV infections. So those people who are not living with HIV, then they don't get infected. And also those who are living with HIV, they don't die because of HIV. So this is the race that we are talking about, moving towards the targets that are set for 2030. Now, one of the critical things also about the race is like, remember today, and you can see also I'm done in issues of marathon.
Right.
Kenya is a marathon country, and therefore we picked on that also theme of running, because also Kenya is known for that. Just saying that all of us need to come together so that we are able to move towards that goal. But mostly, when it comes to the things that we need to look into, like we said again, number one, we have 16,000 new infections, like which we estimate to have happened last year. Now, moving from that 16,000, so I said we have made some progress, up to zero, needed to take everybody. I want to appreciate my colleague here, when he's out, needed to use the social media to be able to reach to the young people. I think the question that you asked was, why don't we see the billboards that we've always seen, which says, yes, in skills.
Yes.
That you drive everywhere, that is what you see.
Condom adverts?
Condom adverts. I think we always like being sensitive to the targets. The first question that we ask ourselves is, which is the best method or channel of reaching to the population that you want? Young people, possibly if you put the billboard, can we be able to reach out to them? Possibly realize that now there is need to change from the billboard now to like social media and other medias which the young people are used to and they can be able to access. So yes, education, health education is taking place, but possibly there is a shift because also the new infections are shifting from the people that we knew to possibly like the young people that we've talked about. My CEO has, I think among what was shown here,
Right.
was saying that also there is another aspect that is coming in. So we have the young people, we say 39%, but also we are realizing now that the elderly, 50 years and above, we are starting getting new infections from there. So we need to start addressing HIV, new HIV infection or prevention of new HIV infections across these cohorts. Whether it is the young people, we deal them because there is some interaction. Because old people starting to get infections, they are getting it from somewhere. So this is what we are unpacking. Then we ask ourselves, where is this population or subpopulation? Then we use the media that can be able to reach to them.
Awesome. Benson, just before I come to you, there was this conference I was in one time, and they say there is a correlation between Wababas and these young girls in the spread of HIV.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Let's start with you, Nick.
Yeah, I agree, most definitely.
You do?
Because most of the young girls are after money. Not all of the young girls are after money, but we have girls who are after money. They don't care about their health. They're just like, I need this money right now. So even if this person says something or doesn't, they just don't care.
Sort of intergenerational sex, right? So Joshua, you do agree? You're nodding. You do agree?
Yes, I agree that we've seen intergeneration relations, relationships, let me call them relationships. And one of the outcome of that is we are seeing now, then also the infections are moving from one generation to another generation, either from young to the old or from the old to the young. Yes.
Awesome. Benson, I saw you today at the race, and this is a form of inclusion, if I do say so myself. As the people with disabilities and as you are their voices, what does this mean to you, a race against time?
Actually, it's a good beginning for, let me once appreciate the NSDCC for bringing us on board, because all along, persons with disability, people have not been thinking like they can be infected or affected in one way or the other. But there is sense, persons with are also people, they have feelings, they do have sex, they may mingle. So in this aspect, we want to, it was intentional, like when we're running a race, there's a theme or a motto that is said, like, we're not leaving anyone behind. So running against the time is not leaving anyone behind, more so marginalized communities. That has been not considered like they exist. So this was a huge milestone for persons with disability, because we had all diverse of persons with disability who participated. It was a strong message that is going outside there that also persons with disability are not inevitable to be infected. And as you were talking about the intergenerational infections, actually this is a discussion we had when we were coming with an elderly man on the way. We're seeing the killing of young girls. There is babas around here, and there is a young girl here, there is a young boy within. And then when the babas get that there is a boy coming within the relation and is invested with that girl, then this is why we're seeing a lot of homicides that all that is happening through the country. So it's true, the new infection is intergenerational, and people are doing it without caution, which is very, very, very dangerous, the situation that we are. And this race was very important, that bring every person, every kind of the communities, from the communities, those who have been neglected for a while, be brought on board that this information, we are running against time, everybody must be included towards this, to take out the message that no one is inevitable, HIV is real. And also we want to see those messages. There's a message that I used to see, I don't know if it was a cigarette, that was so scary. If such a messages or such a images come on board, they can be able to show some realities. I remember when the case of HIV came first, we had one in our community, we changed the route to going to school. So our young generation have not had what the real impact of that HIV was. So we need to put more information that is educative or that is history reminding each and every one of us.
Right. So Benson, there was a time your members say that they wanted condoms with brailles. How is the progress?
There was that conversation. Actually, the PS, actually by then when he had a conference, he confirmed it's something that they need to take up, because when you talk about inclusion, it must be real inclusion. Because we have diverse disability, for example, the one who talked about braille is a person with a visual disability, where when you talk about inclusion, everyone must have their privacy so that they can be able to conduct themselves whichever way that is possible and comfortable. So we hope we are following up on their commitment, and soon we'll be able to get the response. So
Joshua, what's next after the race? Will this be an annual thing or it ends in 2024?
It is a continuous thing. Today we were able to launch also a document that we are calling the operation plan. And the operational plan is to help us then, how do we move from where we are right now to the targets that we have for 2030. And therefore, there will continue intensifying issues of health education, issues of awareness creation, ensuring that we are able to identify or to make, to ensure that those people who are living with HIV and they don't know their status, then they are able to test and know their status. Second thing is to ensure that we are able to bring everybody who is living with HIV to be able to be on treatment. Because as it was said, when we ensure everybody is on treatment and the treatment is effective, then the transmission also is reduced. And that is what we call the U is equal to U. So that is where we are targeting, but also really defining the steps that we need to take towards that. And one of it is what my colleague here, Benson, has mentioned. I remember in the race we are saying, leave no one behind. And actually that is what where we are intensifying our interventions to identify who is this that's remaining behind. For example, people living with disability, are they on board? We've seen now they are the aged, whom we thought that there are no new infections there, but now there is every indication that new infections are coming in. So are we leaving them behind? And the issue of the marathon again, why marathon this year is because our attention was towards men. We've realized that, and it was said by Benson here, that men are also being left behind in terms of knowing their HIV status and also ensuring that they are able to be retained within treatment. So that's actually why we had also to bring the marathon, just to ensure that also we engage men.
All right, I'm being told time is not on our side, but I want to give Nick a chance to, this is going to also act as your parting shot. If you have the chance to change one aspect of how Kenyans approach this HIV in 2024, what will it be?
Well, we need consistent education, first of all, because there are some people, I'm sure, out there, they didn't even know that today was World AIDS Day. So it needs to be weekly. I used to do it weekly. So if I do it today, someone else has to do it tomorrow, another person on Sunday.
Did you stop? Did it stop?
No, it didn't stop.
Okay.
I took a short break, then came back again. I featured it on 3 things that broke my heart, like last week but one, where the report came out that 75% of infections come from people between the age of 15 and 24. Yeah, so it needs to be weekly. If I do it today, another person needs to do it tomorrow, and like that, and like that. And also the message I used to push was, I used to do it in Swahili, bro vaa CD, sis make sure bro amevaa CD before alale na wewe, kwa sababu there are also people who are out here who are on a revenge mission as well, and they are not going to tell you that but I was infected. They're just going to give it to you, and whatever follows. Yeah, so we need consistent education, comprehensive education. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for this conversation. I know time was short, but we'll find time to make a comprehensive discussion on this. As you've had, diversity, that is from Nick Ogade, and inclusion is already there from Joshua and Benson. They're saying that even those people with disabilities are now being included in decision-making processes, right? All right, thank you so much. That's it. My name is Anna Odida. Do have a wonderful night. Stay calm, stay calculated, stay collected, and be at peace. See you next time, inshallah.